All right, let's dive right in. We're going deep into the microscopic world inside your cells today to talk about your body's power source, the mitochondria. We're going to look at how they work and, maybe more importantly, why their slow decline is a huge part of the aging process itself.
You know, it's pretty mind-blowing when you stop and think about it. Right this second, as you're listening, there are literally trillions of tiny little engines humming away inside of you. They're the reason you can think, the reason your heart is beating. They are the actual spark of your life, all working on a scale that's just, well, almost impossible to imagine.
So, what are these little engines? Well, they're called mitochondria, and you probably remember that name from high school biology, right? They were always called the powerhouses of the cell. And honestly, that's the perfect way to describe them. Their number one job is to take the fuel from the food you eat and turn it into a molecule called ATP. And ATP, well, that's the energy cache that pays for absolutely everything your body does.
So let's start by just taking a look at how incredible these cellular power plants are when they're running at their best. Now, ATP isn't just some fuzzy idea of energy. No, it's a real physical molecule that fuels pretty much every single thing you do. I'm talking about everything from a huge muscle contraction when you sprint, all the way down to the tiny little sparks between neurons in your brain as you're processing this information. It's all paid for with ATP.
And you might be tempted to think of mitochondria as just simple little batteries, but oh, they are so much more than that. They're more like command and control centers. I mean, look at this. They help decide when a cell lives or dies. They're in charge of regulating your immune system. They send signals all over the place, and, this is the big one, they have a direct say in how fast you biologically age.
But, just like any power plant that's working 24/7, your mitochondria get worn down over time. And that brings us to the real problem here. What happens when these power plants start to flicker and go offline? You see, the very act of making energy creates a byproduct. It's kind of like cellular exhaust. This exhaust is made of these unstable molecules called reactive oxygen species, or ROS for short. And when they start to build up, it causes something called oxidative stress. The engine metaphor is just perfect here. It's like the soot and pollution from your car's engine slowly starting to gunk up and damage the engine itself. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got healthy mitochondria. They're clean, efficient factories with tons of energy output and very little waste. But on the right, well, that's the problem. The damaged ones produce way less energy, they pump out tons more toxic waste, they get sloppy with their fuel, and their communication signals just get weak and fuzzy.
So when this balance tips over, and the broken down power plants start to outnumber the healthy ones, we slide into a state we call mitochondrial dysfunction. And this isn't just a small dip in your energy levels, it's a huge system-wide issue. It means less energy, more cellular gunk, and this low-grade chronic inflammation that is a major driver of aging.
This dysfunction isn't some abstract idea happening in a textbook. No, it has very real, very tangible effects on our health, especially as we get older.
This idea that our power plants are tied to aging isn't new. Way back in the 1950s, scientists came up with this theory that the exhaust, those free radicals, was what made us age. Today, our understanding is a bit more sophisticated. We now see that mitochondria aren't just taking a beating, they're actually in the driver's seat, actively regulating how fast or slow we age based on their own health.
And this is why it all matters so much. This decline in our power plants is strongly tied to so many of the diseases we associate with getting older. Any part of your body that's super energy hungry, like your brain, your heart, your muscles, they get hit the hardest. This creates a direct line between mitochondrial health and conditions like Alzheimer's, heart disease, diabetes, and that muscle wasting we see with age.
Okay, I know that all sounds a little grim, but here's where the story takes a turn, because this is the empowering part. We are not just helpless passengers here. There are real, tangible things we can do to help our mitochondria and basically rebuild our power grid. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If our power plants are failing, can we fix them? Can we actually build new ones? And the answer, which is just fantastic, is yes. The science shows there are some really powerful things we can do, starting with our lifestyle. It really comes down to these four main pillars. And the key thing to understand is that these aren't just random health tips. They all work by creating a short-term, beneficial challenge for your body. This good kind of stress tells your cells, hey, we need more energy, and that forces them to get stronger, more efficient, and more resilient. And one of the coolest results of this good stress is something called mitochondrial biogenesis. Now, I know it's a mouthful,
but it describes a beautiful process. Your body literally creating brand new, healthy, top-of-the-line mitochondria. Things like high-intensity exercise are amazing at flipping this switch and telling your body, build a bigger, better power grid now.
Of course, nutrition is a huge piece of the puzzle. Certain nutrients are like the essential workers on the mitochondrial assembly line. You've got molecules like CoQ10 that help move things along to make energy. And then others, like NAD plus precursors, which are absolutely critical for keeping the whole energy system running like it did when you were younger.
And please, let's not forget the most basic pillar of them all, sleep. Deep sleep is your body's official maintenance window. It's when the cellular cleanup crews come out, they repair the damage from all that oxidative stress, and they get your power plants tuned up and ready for the next day. It is non-negotiable.
So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that the spark of life, your energy, your get up and go, it really is happening inside these tiny little power plants. The health of your mitochondria determines the health of your cells, and the health of your cells determines the health of you. You take care of them, and believe me, they will pay you back with energy and resilience. So I'll leave you with this question. Your vitality, your very life force, is powered by these trillions of tiny engines. Now that you know that, how are you going to protect your power